Oh, I hope they'll make it okay. It's cold out there, some winters, and I'm kind of hard to find. You made it. Oh, thank goodness. How was the trip? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just glad that you're here now. I'm sure you're wondering what you're doing here, and let me introduce myself. My name is Riley Rose, and I am your resident bunny of holiday cheer. The holidays are a really tough time, and everyone knows that. But for me, it's one of my favorite times of the year, every year. So I hope that I can help you guys feel a little bit better. I've collected some of my favorite ASM artists and some of my favorite Christmas tales. We've got poems by E.E. Cummings, A Letter to Santa by Mark Twain, The 12 Days of Christmas, A Night Before Christmas, A Christmas Carol, and more. Oh my gosh, I can hardly keep it straight. First up, I, with the help of an amazing ASM artist named Ida Kim, are going to read to you The Elves and the Shoemaker. Sit back, relax, maybe grab a snack, some hot cocoa, some water. Sorry, I love snacks. Sit back, relax, and let the holiday cheer flow into you. Once there lived a kind but exceedingly poor shoemaker. He was an honest, hard-working man, but he had fallen on hard times. So hard, in fact, that he only had one piece of leather big enough to make one final pair of shoes. In the light of the setting sun, he carefully cut out his last piece of fine leather and neatly laid it on his workbench, ready to finish it the following workday. He closed the door of his workshop. He let out a heavy sigh and returned home to be with his wife. "Take my hand, dear," he said. "Let us make wish for our fortunes to change, for our years of hard work to pay off, bringing us the ample reward we deserve." His wife stretched out her arms, laid her hands softly into his, and they made their wish. The shoemaker pairs of shoes.
In the light of the setting sun, he carefully cut out 2 pieces of fine leather and neatly laid them on his workbench, ready to finish his work the following day. The next day arrived. To his astonishment, the same thing had happened again. But this time, there was not 1 pair of shoes on his workbench. There were 2. And as before, the quality of the workmanship was so exquisite that 2 well-dressed men came into his workshop and paid twice the asking price. This continued day after day. With the takings from the day, the shoemaker would buy enough leather to prepare twice the number of shoes for the following day. And every morning, the shoes would be immaculately prepared, polished, and stacked on his workbench, ready to be sold. 4 pairs, 8 pairs, 16 pairs, 32 pairs. This pattern carried on for weeks until the shoemaker was selling many thousands of pairs of shoes every single day, each as expertly crafted as the last. The shoemaker and his wife were no longer poor. In fact, they had become quite rich from selling so many shoes. One night, the shoemaker turned to his wife. "Dear wife," he said, "I feel so blessed for our wonderful fortune of late, and I long to know the secret behind this shoemaking magic, so we can show our deepest thanks." "Perhaps we should stay up tonight," replied his wife. "We can creep down to the workshop by candlelight." The shoemaker agreed. That very night, as the clock struck midnight, they each lit a candle, silently made their way to the workshop, and peered through a slightly open window. What they saw was so magical, it instantly took their breath away. An army of beautiful elves filled the workshop. Each elf was no more than 6 inches tall and sat upon a tiny wooden stool, working furiously, 1 elf per shoe. They rapped and tapped and hammered and stitched at such rapid pace you could barely see their little arms at all. 1 elf stood out. She was not hammering nor stitching. Instead, she was standing at the front of the workshop, facing the other elves, like the conductor of a miniature orchestra. She wore a tall, pointed pink hat with the words "Grand High Elf" neatly embroidered on the front. Suddenly, the candle slipped from the shoemaker's grasp and landed with a thud upon the stone floor. Hearing this, all the elves froze in terror.
A moment passed, then the Grand High Elf cried, "Everybody run!" And that was it. The scene that ensued was nothing short of pandemonium. The elves scattered in a frenzied attempt to flee the workshop as fast as they could. "Please wait," cried the shoemaker. "We are here to say thank you," said his wife, "for all of your amazing hard work and kindness, and we would like to show our appreciation by doing something kind in return." As the panic subsided, all eyes fell on the Grand High Elf. She stepped forward and said, "We are hungry, and the clothes upon our backs are threadbare. Would you be so kind as to feed us and replace our clothes? We would forever be in your debt." The shoemaker lay down on the ground, his face now level with the Grand High Elf. The pink-clothed elf shakes hands with the shoemaker. He smiled at her and said gently, "Of course, Your Highness, we will gladly give you all the food and clothes you desire. And please forgive me, but I've noticed that your feet are bare. I'd also like to make you each a pair of my finest shoes." They did not stop until all was done and stood finished on the table, and then they ran quickly away. The next morning, the woman said, "The little men have made us rich, and we really must show that we are grateful for it. They run about so, but have nothing on, and
should we longer cobblers be? They danced and skipped and leaped over chairs and benches. At last they danced out of the doors. From that time on they came no more, but as long as the shoemaker lived, all went well with him, and all his business prospered.
It must be impossible for you to not be filled with a love for the holidays. But don't worry if you're still having a little trouble believing. You're not alone. That's why IJustinLA is here to read you a letter from Santa Claus by Mark Twain.
My dear Susie Clemens, I have received and read all the letters which you and your little sister have written me. I can read your and your baby sister's jagged and fantastic marks without any trouble at all. But I had trouble with those letters which you dictated through your mother and the nurses, for I am a foreigner and cannot read English very well. You will find that I made no mistakes about the things which you and the baby ordered in your own letters. I went down your chimney at midnight when you were asleep, delivered them all myself, and kissed you both on the forehead too. But there were one or two small orders which I could not fill because we ran out of stock. There was a word or two in your mamma's letter which I took to be trunk full of doll's clothes. Is that it? I will call at your kitchen door about 9 o'clock in the morning to inquire, but I must not see anybody, and I must not speak to anybody but you. When the kitchen door bell rings, George must be blindfolded and sent to the door. You must tell George he must walk on tiptoe and not speak, otherwise he will die someday. Then you must go up to the nursery and stand on a chair or the nurse's bed and put your ear to the speaking tube. Put your ear to the speaking tube that leads down to the kitchen. And when I whistle through it, you must speak into the tube and say, "Welcome, Santa Claus." Then I will ask whether it was a trunk you ordered or not. If you say it was, I shall ask you what color you want the trunk to be. And then you must tell me every single thing in detail which you want the trunk to contain. Then, when I say goodbye and Merry Christmas to little Susie Clemens, you must say, "Goodbye, good old Santa Claus. I thank you very much." Then you must go down into the library and make George close all the doors that open into the main hall, and everybody must keep still for a little while. I will go to the moon and get those things, and in a few minutes I will come down the chimney that belongs to the fireplace that is in the hall. If it is a trunk you want, because I couldn't get such a thing as a trunk down the nursery chimney, you know. If I should leave any snow in the hall, you must tell George to sweep it into the fireplace, for I haven't time to do such things. George must not use a broom, but a rag, else he will die someday. If my boot should leave a stain on the marble, George must not hollystone it away. Leave it there, always in memory of my visit. And whenever you look at it or show it to anybody, you must let it remind you to be a good little girl. Whenever you are naughty and someone points to the mark which your good old Santa Claus's boot made on the marble, what will you say, little sweetheart? Goodbye for a few minutes till I come down to the world and ring the kitchen doorbell. Your loving Santa Claus, who sometimes people call the Man on the Moon.
Now please enjoy the simply lovely song styling of the 12 Days of Christmas by the incredible Christie Skylar.
On the first day of Christmas, sorry to come away. See, I will comfort you, because you smell so sweetly. I will kiss your cool bark and hug you safe and tight, just as your mother would. Only don't be afraid. Look, the spangles that sleep all year in a dark box, dreaming of being taken out and allowed to shine. The balls, the chains, red and gold, the fluffy threads. Put up your little arms, and I'll give them all to you to hold. Every finger shall have its ring, and there won't be a single place dark or unhappy. Then, when you're quite dressed, you'll stand in the window for everyone to see, and how they'll stare. Oh, but you'll be very proud, and my little sister and I will take hands and look up at our beautiful tree. We'll dance and sing Noel, Noel.
Now the holidays are so busy and it feels like they go by in a flash. But this next ASM artist really wanted to just spread a little bit of cheer. So I picked a random poem from Country Living for the wonderful Amiipie to read for us, because I just needed her Christmas lovin' so badly. Hope you enjoy.
This poem is called Remember the Reindeer. Hang up the stockings. Decorate the tree. Presents placed perfectly. What a sight to see. Milk and cookies are out. Kids are tucked in tight. There's so much to do on Christmas Eve night. Before you take a snooze and dream of the next day, don't forget some food. For the friends who pull the sleigh, you see, reindeer need snacks too. They do. A little love and fun to help Santa through the night and get the important job done.
Oh, my heart is filled with Christmas joy. Speaking of which, this next one is one of my favorite Christmas stories of all time. I read it every single Christmas Eve growing up. It's A Night Before Christmas, authored by Clement Clark Moore, but read to you by RJ&J and Vampyre ASMR.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that Saint Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the roof there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutter, threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof.
As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
And next we have a very wonderful classic Christmas tale, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, read to you by Faolker the Book Dragon, Rikki Wikki, and Salem Arcana.
Once upon a time,
is Christmas Day," said Bob. "Bah, humbug," Scrooge replied. "And I'll be paying you even though you won't be at work." "Very well. You may take the afternoon off, but you must start work 3 hours early to make up for it." This was not the only time that day that Scrooge ignored his nephew's warning. As he left the office that evening, 2 portly gentlemen asked him for a contribution to their charity. But Scrooge reacted to this call for a holiday spirit with bitterness and venom, spitting out an angry "Bah, humbug." Later, at his home, Scrooge settled in for what he expected would be a night like any other. Soon, however, he heard a strange, clanking sound moving up the stairs and felt an even greater chill in the air. Right through the solid wood of the locked bedroom door came the ghost of his old business partner, Jacob Marley. Oh, Marley looked haggard and pallid, and he related his unfortunate story to the cowering Scrooge. As punishment for his own greedy and self-serving life, his spirit had been condemned to wander the earth, weighted down with heavy chains. Marley now hoped to save Scrooge from the same fate, and informed his old friend that 3 spirits would visit him during the night. Trembling, Scrooge went to bed and eventually was able to sleep. Some time later, however, Scrooge awoke as outside the clock struck the midnight hour. The curtains of his bed opened, and he saw before him a strange, childlike phantom with a brightly glowing head. It told him it was the ghost of Christmas past, and that it had something to show him. Unable to refuse, Scrooge realized he was now outside, watching a group of children laughing and playing in the snow. And he realized that the spirit had brought him on a journey to his own past. Invisible to those he watched, Scrooge saw his childhood school days, his apprenticeship with a jolly merchant named Fezziwig, and his engagement to Belle, a woman who had, in the end, left Scrooge because of his lust for money. "I'm sad," he once again heard her say. "You love your money more than you love me. Please, please go and never come back." Now Scrooge was anguished
next night, after another day of being cheap and mean, he suddenly arose when he heard a different voice. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Come with me. This ghost looked different. He appeared as a majestic giant, clad in a green fur robe, but still with a glowing head. He stretches out his hand, taking Scrooge through London to unveil Christmas as it will happen that year. Scrooge watches the large, bustling Cratchit family prepare a miniature feast in its meager home. Then Scrooge took a closer look, peering through the windows of Bob Cratchit's house. In the kitchen, he could see Mrs. Cratchit getting Christmas dinner ready. The other children were running around having fun. Then Bob Cratchit came in, carrying his little boy on his shoulders. His son was pale and didn't look very well. Looking at Bob Cratchit's crippled son, Tiny Tim, Scrooge could tell he was a courageous boy whose kindness and humility warms even Scrooge's icy cold heart. Then the family sat down at the table. The Cratchit family were very poor, so there wasn't much for Christmas dinner, but everyone was happy that it was Christmas. Happy Christmas, everyone, said Bob. Tiny Tim didn't eat very much, poor little boy. Bob held his hand. Oh, I do hope you will be okay, said Scrooge. If things don't change in the future, you will be very, very sick, said the voice. This made Scrooge sad. The ghost then zipped Scrooge to his nephew's to witness the Christmas party he was invited to. Scrooge finds the jovial gathering delightful and pleads with the spirit to stay until the very end of the festivities. As the party passes, the spirit ages, becoming noticeably older. Toward the end of the day, the spirit shows Scrooge 2 starved children. Scrooge cannot help but be moved by them, wanting to help them. As Scrooge approaches, he notices that one of the kids is Tiny Tim, freezing, hungry, and alone. Before Scrooge can
ASM artists are going to tell you a little bit more about themselves.
Hello, hello. Greetings, greetings. Welcome in. We are RJ and J. We're an ASM artist couple here, both together live with you. That's Jay, Jules, whose hands you're seeing over there in the Lego world. And I'm RJ. Those are also my hands you're seeing at the piano in the Lego sky, making up all the music we're hearing at the moment as we go along. We love Lego sights and sounds. We do a lot of building, also cleaning and taking apart sets, flipping through instruction books and Lego catalogs, stuff like that. We also have some of our own favorite Lego style triggers, like the plastic package crinkle bags that you're hearing right now. We stream every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday live on Twitch, and have new content throughout the week on TikTok and YouTube as well. We'd love to see you all around. Thanks for having us.
Hello. My name is Justin, or Jama ASMR, and I am a content creator here on YouTube for ASMR content. I love to do a variety of stuff, but I really love doing role plays and just kind of having fun. I do ASMR and variety game streaming over on Twitch as well, but I am super excited to be a part of this collaboration and with all these amazing ASMR artists. So thank you, Riley Rose, for setting this up and hosting this all, and I look forward to seeing all of your performances.
Hi, my name is Bambi After Hours, and today I'm going to be doing a reading of a Christmas poetry by E.E. Cummings, Little Tree, 1894-1962.
Hello, my name is Amy, and I stream ASMR on Twitch under the name Amiipie, and I also have an ASMR channel on YouTube, also called Amiipie, where I post ASMR in English, and then I have a Portuguese ASMR channel called Amy ASMR. So I just want to say thank you so much to Riley for this amazing collab, for hosting and putting this together, and I hope you all enjoyed this video.
Hi, I'm Christie Skylar, an ASM artist and cozy content creator, making content on Twitch, YouTube, Fansly, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and even more, all under the handle Christie Skylar. I love making tingly ASMR content that helps relax people and de-stress from their everyday life. I also focus on making a community of friends that are authentic and help uplift and support one another. If that sounds like something that you would enjoy, I'd love to see you on some of my other platforms. I hope you enjoy this ASMR collaboration, and I'll see you again soon.
Happy holidays. I am Vampyre ASMR, a Canadian-Italian traditional ASMR streamer. I mainly stream on Twitch, but you can also find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, always with the same handle, Vampyre with Y_ASMR. Hope to see you soon.
Hello. I am Faolker, the book dragon, and I stream cozy reading content over on Twitch, with nights just for mythology and fairy tales. If you're looking for a community of book lovers and writers, or if you just want a good night story and some soft